Let's talk about Lisa Frankenstein. This is directed by Zelda Williams. It also is written by Diablo Cody, who of course is back after they did Tully as well as Juno. And also, of course, we cannot mention Diablo Cody without the famous Jennifer's Body. Now we have Kathryn Newton starring in this as well as Cole Sprouse. And this film is your basic, hey, what if we took Frankenstein's story, put it in the 80s, and the teenager reanimates a corpse? That's exactly what happens here. And I won't get into the specifics about how the corpse gets reanimated and all of that, because I think that's definitely something to experience with the film. But I'm here to tell you that this is definitely one of those films that I think is just going to become a cult classic soon. But before we get into it, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 30,000 subscribers. We're going to be covering South by Southwest next month, and we really would love to get to 30,000 before we hit the road for South by Southwest. But let's talk about Lisa Frankenstein. Like I said, this film is just coming out in time for Valentine's. I think this is definitely one of those films that is just cute, it's romantic, it's dark, it's weird, it's funny. Let me tell you first and foremost that Kathryn Newton in this is just incredible. I think Kathryn has been one of those actresses that we've just been seeing evolve more and more as the years go. And from going from Marvel to more indie films and all of that, I think that they show a good range. Of course, we're not done just yet with Kathryn Newton, as we will be seeing them in the upcoming film Abigail. And I think there's a lot that you can really appreciate from what they're able to evoke in their films they're in, whether it's a serious scene, a funny scene, all of that. It seems that their range is really good, and in this one it's no different, especially at times acting opposite of Cole Sprouse in this, because for the most part Cole is nonverbal. There really isn't much there as well, but Cole does a great job as well, I think, at really showing the emotions of the monster, even though he's not really able to speak and all of that. He's able to do it just by doing some gestures, some face movements, and just very much so giving that energy, and you can understand him just as the character is able to do so as well. This movie really caught me by surprise too, as well, at how dark it really got. I wasn't too entirely sure what we were going to get. I know that Diablo has done some films like Juno, like Jennifer's Body, and those films do balance the dark stuff, especially with the comedy and all of that. But I wasn't too entirely sure where this movie wanted to go in what direction, especially from the trailers that we got in. It really felt more like it just wanted to be a cute romance film. But no, let me tell you, things got dark and quick, and it was definitely some of the highlights for the film, because those dark moments are laced with comedy, and there's a very good balance of that in my opinion. And I really did enjoy those moments where it was just like, did I just see that happen right there? But you couldn't help but to laugh just about the execution or some of the ways that the characters react in it as well. It definitely was a good balance in my opinion, and I very much so enjoyed it even more because of that, because it took me by surprise seeing all of this unfold the way it did, and it was just a fun time in that theater. Everybody was just laughing, and it was just a great time. I mean, I'm telling you, when you go see a movie and the audience and everybody's just reacting and enjoying it, it elevates that theater experience even more in the movie itself. And I think this is one of those movies that's definitely enjoyed with a crowd for sure. Now, in terms of story, I think the story is very straightforward, which is such a good thing, honestly. I didn't want it to get too convoluted with different things. I think if you really think about this one too much, you might just catch yourself like missing out on some of the fun parts about it. It is definitely one of those movies that is very kooky. Know that going in. I definitely did enjoy the aspects of the film when it really went off the rails, and it gave me sort of this very campy vibe to it as well. And the film isn't campy throughout, but it does have those camp moments in it. And I will agree that there are moments in the film where it can kind of deviate, and it can kind of start to do something a little bit too much. And then you're like, wait, I want to go back to what we were doing earlier in it. And it sort of has this feeling of a Frankenstein monster indeed, where it has all of this going on here, and then it's doing this and it's doing that at certain points. But I think by the end of it, the film really does find its groove in its second half, and it really pushes what it was doing that we really enjoyed. And that's when it was a dark comedy that just felt kooky. And I really do think that that is its highlight for sure. There are other aspects of it that it's trying to do, and it doesn't really fully develop, because I feel like some of it felt like we were watching a show where this was one episode that was like this, and the other one was like that, and the other one was like this. And it can kind of work for a TV show where it has time to really flesh out and do its own thing and stand out on its own with its different episodes. But I think for a movie, when it's an hour and 30-40 minutes, it really has to be concrete and solid by the time we get to that second half. But luckily, I think Lisa Frankenstein does just that. It really finds its footing and it really goes forward full throttle by the end of it. And I really enjoyed it. I'm going to tell you that. I think that Zelda Williams has a very good eye. Certain scenes in this were done so well. And I really want to see more of Diablo writing, because the writing here was just funny. A lot of the jokes landed with me. And I definitely can see that the rest of the audience was vibing with them. Catherine Newton-Cole, just amazing as well as always. I think they always knock it out of the park, and I'm excited to see more of them in the future. But I think that this is definitely one of those films that could potentially become a cult classic over the years. It gave me Heather's vibes. It gave me sort of Edward Scissorhands. That type of vibe and style is yours, then this is your movie, because this is definitely one of the best gothic romance movies I think we've gotten in quite some time, and it's definitely one to add to the list for sure, just in time for Valentine's as well. But let me know what you think about Lisa Frankenstein. We give Lisa Frankenstein a 3.7 out of 5. We really enjoyed the comedy. We really loved the kookiness, the love, the romance, all of that. I just think it was doing too much at certain points, but I think by the end of it, really finds its footing, and I really do agree that this is one of those movies that you just got to check out, especially if you're a fan of Diablo, if you're a fan of gothic movies, like I said, and just that sort of 80s throwback. I mean, the 80s were very much so present here, but I feel like we really could have swapped it out for anything else. There are certain keys, material here that does fit for the 80s and really pushes the story forward, but I think we could have worked around that. You know, I really would have wanted to be more into that 80s feel, but that's just me. Anyways, let me know your thoughts and opinions on Lisa Frankenstein. We will be discussing more of the movies we watched at Sundance. We have a review for I Saw the TV Glow, so check that out if you haven't already. Also, we got a ton of announcements from South by Southwest that just got announced, so stay tuned for all of that. But as always, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.